Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Council of the Township of North Dundas, today being March 12th, 2025. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we'll move right into adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes, or if anyone would like an item removed from the consent agenda for discussion? Seeing none, moved by Councillor Lennox, seconded by Councillor Annable, that the agenda be adopted as presented. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none. Before I get too deep into it, I'd just like to let everyone know that the Deputy Mayor has taken a well-deserved vacation, and she's not with us today for that reason. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Councillor Lennox.
Yes, I, John Lennox, declare a conflict of interest on agenda item 5.5.c for the meeting of 12 March 24 or 25 for an unresolved matter.
Thank you very much, Councillor. And so at that point, I imagine you will leave the room?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And with us today, we have 4 delegations, and the first delegation we have is from the SDG Library, and with us today is Ms. Rebecca Luck, the Director of Library Services. So, Ms. Luck, the microphone is yours, and thank you for being here today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council, staff, and members of the public who may be watching. My name is Rebecca Luck. I'm the Director of Library Services at the SDG Library, and I'm here this afternoon to provide you with an update on library services. The Township of North Dundas has 3 library branches and 1 express depot. The Chesterville branch is often viewed as a safe space for community members, especially for those who rely on the branch's computers and internet services. The branch is open 17 hours a week, and in 2024, the Chesterville branch circulated nearly 10,000 print materials, 1,600 digital materials. We saw 231 hours of computer usage, 504 library patrons, 3,900 visitors, and 88 new members. The Chesterville branch remains a safe and inviting space for all ages, offering programs such as the Book, Line, and Thinkers Club, which is community-led, and the Knitting Circle, which people come from far and wide to gather and socialize while enjoying the fiber arts. The Chesterville branch also runs a variety of other programs, such as the PVC pipe photo planters. We had a community puzzle build where we laid out puzzle pieces, and each member the community would come in and place one piece of the puzzle. We had a crafting program for Easter eggs using salt, learn to play cribbage, rediscover your library, which was an open house drop-in session to learn more about your library and ask questions to the LSA on staff. And we had a very popular 1940 knitting circle where we had a member of the military come by. We also had our summer students read excerpts from the farmerettes' diaries, and we made wool socks using the 1940s pattern. I would also like to mention that it was a very generous donation by the Winchester Pet Value that donated money so that we could purchase this wool. In 2024, we saw 109 adults and 60 children attend these programs. The South Mountain branch has an amazing group of volunteers known as the Friends of the South Mountain Library Group. The branch is truly a community hub. It's open 16 hours a week, and in 2024, the South Mountain branch circulated nearly 10,000 print materials, 886 digital materials, 55 hours of computer usage, 429 library patrons, nearly 4,000 visitors, and 90 new members were registered. So as I previously said, South Mountain Branch serves as a community hub, offering programs such as the Community Craft Circle, which meets weekly, the Homeschool Explorers, which meets twice a month, and the Baby and Tot Playtime. South Mountain Branch also runs a variety of other programs, such as the March Break Spy School, which the library was turned into a maze for the kids. We had programs where we made beeswax food wraps, tumblers. We also had a holiday social where we had an open house, and we invited patrons to come in and bring in their recycled books to make ornaments with. We had a Winter Wonderland story time, and we also had a crafting program to make bath bombs. In 2024, we saw 146 adults and 543 children attend these programs. The Winchester branch is very uniquely located. It's adjacent to the hospital, the school, and it's above the OPP station. So it's not out of the norm for someone who might be visiting their loved one at the hospital to come over to the library branch and explore our material, or come recess or, end of school, that the kids come in mass to come to the library. The branch is open 44 hours a week, and in 2024, the Winchester branch saw over 23,000 print materials distributed, 2,400 digital materials. We saw over 1,300 hours of computer usage, 1,100 library patrons, 11,823 visitors, and 250 new members. It is truly a well-used library branch. The Winchester branch offers a wide variety of programs, including the Homeschool Explorer program, which again meets twice a month, the Family Fun Fridays, which offers passive activities for kids from 3:30 till 5, the Winchester Chapter Chat, which is their local book club, the Snack and Study group, which opens the lounge to teens to come and study with, of course, snacks, and the After School Club. Winchester branch also runs a variety of other programs. We invited OPP officer to speak on fraud and scams during our seniors Valentine's Day tea. We had an art attack for March break. We had a program to learn how to make macrame planters, summer library games, which occurred alongside the Summer Olympics of last year, where we had activities in and outside of the branch. We made spooky cemeteriums using our 3D printer, and we also had a craft supply swap. In 2024, we saw 87 adults and over 1,200 kids attend these programs. The community spoke, and the SDG library listened. In 2023, we opened the Morewood Express Depot in the fall, providing patrons with an alternate service option for picking up and returning library material. So what that would mean is that as a library patron, I would go onto the website, I would order my book, I would pick it up from Shelley's Seashell Salon, and then when I'm done with it, I can return to any one of our branches, or I could go to the Morewood Community Center where we have an Express Depot pictured on the slide. So since opening in 2024, we saw 170 items circulated and 97 visitors use this service. We also conducted community outreach. We attended the Meet Me on Main Street in Morewood, which saw 80 interactions. As part of our community outreach, we popped up in other communities across North Dundas. We attended Art on the Waterfront in Chesterfield, which saw 170 interactions, the Chesterfield Fair, which saw 72 interactions. We attended the South Mountain Community Yard Sale, which saw 93 interactions. We extended our branch hours for the Mayor Disc Golf Challenge, which saw 31 hours. We attended the South Mountain Fair with 184 interactions. The Boys Girls Club, Where to Turn Mental Health in Winchester, saw 89 interactions. Winchester's Community Yard Sale, which saw 77. Winchester's Dairy Fest, 239 interactions. And lastly, we participated in the North Dundas Parade of Lights. Unfortunately, I don't know the exact number of interactions, but I can say that we distributed over 400 candy canes. In Winchester, we conduct monthly outreach services to the Dundas Manor, providing residents with library materials. We also host monthly visits from Winchester Public School, and during these visits, we welcome 3 kindergarten classes and 1 5-6 class. During these visits, the kids come to the library, they borrow materials, and they participate in activities. North Dundas residents are encouraged to visit and explore their local library to borrow books, DVDs, magazines, access free Wi-Fi, print, scan, copy, fax, use a computer, attend a program, borrow museum passes, borrow musical instruments, play games, do puzzles, borrow nature and exercise kits, and borrow board games and gaming consoles, all for free. For those looking to, For those looking to create, community members can turn their imagination into reality. That's right. Sorry. I was ahead of myself. At the SCG Library, community members can connect to our digital library, where they can listen to audiobooks, borrow ebooks, comics, magazines, read e-newspapers, listen to radio shows, watch movies, TV series, watch crafting tutorial, learn language, and learn new skills using LinkedIn Learning or Canadian Encyclopedia. For those looking to create, community members can turn their imagination into reality using 3D printers, vinyl printers, sewing machines, button makers, VHS to DVD converters, die cutting machines, laser engraver, sublimation printer, and scanning for photos. SDG Library believes in fostering creativity and imagination in children. Last year, during the month of August, the SDG Library launched what we called the Take and Make kits. In these kits, kids would find wooden pieces to make a rocket ship, along with paints and stickers to decorate. We created 192 of these rocket ship kits, and we were very excited to receive 26 photo submissions of these very proud little creators. The SDG Library hosts the TD Summer Reading Club all summer long. It's a program designed to inspire children to build upon their literacy skills. The program is delivered by 2 summer reading club facilitators, which are typically student positions, and we supplement this by applying for grants. The coordinators lead these programs across all 15 of our branches, and they do activities with the kids, they read stories, and make crafts. Last year, this program ran for 7 weeks, and in those 7 weeks, we saw over 1,000 children attend this program. SDG Reads is sloganed One Book, One Community. It's a program that encourages all residents across SDNG to read the same title before coming together for an evening with the author. Last year, we featured Canadian author Craig Shreve and his novel, The African Samurai. The event was hosted at the North Stormont Place, and we welcomed 75 community members to this event. So, what's up for the year ahead? We've recently partnered with the Nation Public Library in their time of need. We listen to public feedback, and as such, we're launching, or actually have launched now, 2 new databases. One is for digital comic books, and the other one is for video streaming services. We are well underway in our March break programming, so you can come to any of our SDG Library branches, and you can create a sublimation bookmark. The branches also are hosting a variety of other programs such as movie days, Lego challenges, and so forth. In the month of May, towards the end, we'll be initiating our membership drive entitled Every Kid a Card, where we'll be partnering with local schools in order to ensure that every kid has a card. And then lastly, in the month of November and December, we'll be launching our holiday initiative entitled Pages for Presents, wherein we invite community members to help spread the joy of reading by purchasing and donating a book to a child in need. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, for the presentation. And I must, before we get too much further, there is another library board member present. Joanne McCaslin was sitting next to you. She's on the library board. I'm on the library board. But to have this presentation as opposed to being in a meeting, it's quite enlightening, the number of activities and the opportunities that are available to residents of North Dundas. And I truly appreciate the effort being made and your work to that. There's many things that have gone on in the last few years, improvements, and I appreciate that. But I look to council members for comments. Councilor Lennox.
Excellent presentation, Ms. Luck. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and obviously you guys offer a ton of services I wasn't aware of. One stat which I did enjoy was the 11,823 visitors to Winchester alone. North Dundas has 12,500 residents, give or take. So that's an impressive stat. And going into the Winchester branch, one thing I always liked seeing after school was the kids playing Roblox on the computer, and while the others were waiting their turn, they were digging into the material on the shelves and going through the pages and learning. Just one question for you, and from Chesterville branch, what is a PVC pipe photo planter?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it was a crafting activity where, and I can't remember who exactly donated, and I apologize for that, but a company, they donated the PVC pipe, so what you would see when you install underground infrastructure, and with it, they drilled some holes, they put in a planter for making plants, and they put a picture, and so it was just like a crafting activity for them.
That's pretty cool. Maybe another partnership down the road would be my favorite gang, the Chesterville Green Action Gang.
You got it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Further questions, comments from members of council? Councillor Urick.
I just was going to say, I think I'm raising a pair of nerds just like their dad is, and the number of times I get the email reminder that we've got books due back is a clear indication that my children love the library here in town. So, no, definitely keep up the great work, and to see the raw numbers like that is impressive, and it's nice to see because, you know, the number of times we are in there either after school or on a Saturday or something, and it is a full place. There's lots going on in there, so it's nice to see.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Annable.
Well, only in that I can see the library out of my kitchen window. And I'm sorry, but it's been a very long time since I've been there. I think I should get off my laurels and go down and have a look.
I think that would be fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Rebecca, a couple of the things have been touched on already by my fellow councillors, and thank you, Councillor, for your comment, but I do look forward to you getting in and maybe renewing your card. There you go. And that should have been something that was thought of tonight, having the facility to get maybe 8 or 10 or 12 new members tonight. They're all here, so you could have signed them up. But nevertheless, I want to touch base on something that I attended, and that was the when you mentioned the OPP and the fraud. It was Joanne and I attended that, and it was I don't want to say enlightening. I've used that word once already, but it really did bring to our attention the challenges that our seniors face, and not just our seniors, those that are contacted by these fraudsters, by these people that commit these scams on us, and the numbers and the amount of money that's drawn out of the pockets of people by these scam artists, but to have that presentation, it was in the millions of dollars that people lose throughout a year, and but to bring that information forward to a select group of people that are targeted more frequently than others, it was very well received and appreciated. You mentioned the LSA, and I'm not sure if everyone knows what an LSA is.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, LSA, my apologies. It's what we call the Library Services Assistant. They're essentially who you meet behind the desk. So they're the one who knows everything. They're the one to give you the first smile and the warm welcome when you enter the library.
Thank you. And those LSAs are the ones that really push these new initiatives. It's their ideas, supported by you, and but I think kudos go to the LSAs for their passion to make sure people are engaged, and I appreciate that. And you did mention the disc golf that took place at South Mountain. I was
forget.
bragging about that to the clerk earlier about the disc golf and that challenge. That's I'm not sure if I'm the only one that's played disc golf in South Mountain, but those that think it might be interesting, please go to the South Mountain branch and to the South Mountain, to the the Rick Covier Memorial Park and see what the disc golf course is like, and hopefully bump into someone that's playing and maybe get a lesson on that. But the one thing that we talked about at the last branch meeting, or the last board meeting, I'm sorry, was the new initiatives and how the Maker Lab is being more items that are at the Maker Lab are being brought forward to the other 14 branches. Do you want to touch base on that?
Absolutely. So the Maker Lab is hosted in Finch, and it was kind of described on that slide where we talk about, connect and create, explore, specifically the one where we talk about creating at the SDG Library branch. So I went in and I, listed off all those things that you could go to the Maker Lab to make. So the button maker, you can make tote bags using this, sublimation printer, or the vinyl cutting to make a tumbler. But what we're trying to do is not just have it at Finch, we're trying to bring it outside the community. So you may have seen in some of the programs that we listed, the Make It with Cricut or Maker Lab. So those are the programs that we're saying, okay, we need to get the Maker Lab outside of this one community. We need to bring it to programs outside. So how can we do that? Well, let's have a Maker Lab program where we make a tumbler, or we make a tote bag, or in Maxville we made pillowcase coverings. So just bringing that initiative outside of Finch, and then outfitting our branches not only at Finch with a 3D printer, but bringing that to other communities. So other library branches like Alexandria, and we have so many 3D printers now, but they're located outside of just the Finch Maker Lab, giving access to our residents. I think when I prepared the delegation for the Township of South Glengarry, Councillor Jaworski was saying, she had a ski boot and she had broken off the clip on her ski boot, and so what did she do? She doesn't want to buy a whole new ski boot. She goes to the Maker Lab, uses a 3D printer, and prints off that little clip that was broken from her ski boot. So just very innovative ideas, bringing it to schools and bringing it to pop-up events.
Thank you. And I just want to go over the idea of the Maker Lab and how it's quite a bit different. I looked through some of the people I grew up with in Chesterville, and how the library has changed what it does. It's no longer just a spot to go and be silent and be shushed and to get a book and to take it home to your parents, or a book for yourself. It's much more than just print. It's evolved as technology has evolved, as opportunities have evolved, and so the full advantage has been taken of that technology, and as a way to engage with the community and have the community engage with themselves, and become a spot where people can go and much the same way as going to read, to learn, to understand us better. It's an opportunity to understand technology better and to explore. And so what the library does is vital to us and to all of us. It serves us all. Anything further? Seeing none, I just want to thank you, Ms. Luck, for doing that, and I want to thank Joanne for attending as a board member, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you. So the next delegation is the Garden Party Market. It's a committee of council, and with us is Kelly Windle. Please come up, Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hello, councillors, staff, and guests. My presentation isn't as visual as the SDNG library, so I should probably go use the resources here for next time. My name's Kelly Windle. I am the chair of the Garden Party Market. We're a new committee to North Dundas as of 2023, or 2024, I should say. But the market itself has been around since 2020. We became a committee of council just to want to have the township's support, so I do appreciate that. Not only with the location of the market, but with also the insurance and so forth, and also with additional volunteers to assist with the market in itself. So our committee has grown. We have 6 committee members last year. However, as committees are, people come and go. So we are accepting new committee members if anybody's interested in joining us. The garden party market, this is new to me, so please interrupt me if I'm not giving the right information or so forth. So the garden party market is Winchester North Dundas's Shop Local initiative. We bring together small businesses, the arts, and the community. So I'll recap a little bit about 2024, and then we'll give you what 2025 is looking like, and yeah. So 2024, we moved down to the 100 Club Park at the Winchester Arena. We thought the location is absolutely great for the market. Not only does it provide the parking, electrical, a beautiful grassed area for the vendors, it also offers the patrons more comfort with regards to the pavilion to listen to the music, along with the park to play in, the pool, and other amenities. So we're very happy to be located there. The market itself in 2024 ran 6 seasonal dates, 6 months through the season. So we ran May to October, once a month. We had upwards of 30 vendors and hosted 6 different live bands during the market. With regards to that, additionally, we introduced games, and we were granted the community grant of $400 from the township that we used to invest in a cornhole set. The patrons, we've seen a decline since 2023. I think it's just a sign of the times as well. Markets were really big between 2020 when you couldn't go anywhere to shop, so you had to shop outside. So through COVID, the market saw about 500 people plus, and then we found that as the years progressed, especially through 2023 and 24, that we have seen a decline. Anywhere, it used to be about 500 people that would come, and 2023, 2024, we saw roughly about 200 patrons. So we're trying to figure out where our next steps are with regards to that. We want to continue to host the market. We think it's a wonderful initiative in the community. I mean, with regards to the vendors, they love coming to Winchester. They love the people in Winchester. They think it's one of the best organized markets that they've attended. So I praise our group with regards to that. So now it's just trying to figure out how to get the people into our community. You know, as Councillor Lennox said, we're 12,000 people in North Dundas. We're about, 3,000 people in Winchester. So we're no Kemptville, you know, where you have 20,000 people right in the core. So with regards to trying to figure out how to bring in more people, with regards to advertising, we've used road signs, we've had flyers going out, we use social media, and then as well as the township advertises on their social media, as do the vendors. So we're not sure exactly how to draw in more people besides those outlets. So we'll continue to keep doing as we can, and hopefully we'll see the market continue to survive, let alone thrive into the future. With regards to our funding, the market itself during the season raises about $3,500 through regular fees. And additionally, we see about $2,000 in sponsorships come in, and the sponsorships is used towards the bands. So the regular seasonal market this year, we have decided to go down to 2 dates, to 1 date. So we'll just host our regular May market, which we're calling our Mother's Day market this year. And we hope to raise money therefore to go into the Christmas market later on. With regards to the Christmas market itself, last year in 2024, I think we nailed it. It was our 4th annual Christmas market. The Christmas market itself is located downtown on St. Lawrence Street, stretching from Main to Clarence. And with the weather, I mean, we always ask for sunny days, and so far we get them. And we believe we've seen over 3,000 people attend the Christmas market. So we do not have a specific number and way of counting how many people actually patron the market in itself. We kind of just go by the sales of vendors and the number of people we kind of visually see. So we'd like to try and figure out a way somehow to actually count the numbers of people that come so we can get you exact or close to numbers that way. The Christmas market itself offered Mr. and Mrs. Claus, Vanderland's Petting Zoo, Reed's Acres horse-drawn wagon rides, which was a huge hit this year. We had the live music, the Boys and Girls Club joined us. We had carolers, and we had the churches offering lunches and bake sales and a warming station. I'll try and get the library at it this year. And then with regards to that, we had over 60 vendors participating, and that's probably with the downtown location area about where we can cap off. That way we can leave Main Street accessible still for people driving into town and for the rerouting of vehicles with regards to the road closures. The Christmas market's budget alone was $9,000. That is to cover all of the offerings that I had just mentioned. The fees from and the local sponsorships covered the majority of it. However, we did come in shy, and the Planted Arrow graciously donated the remaining $2,700 to cover the cost of the petting zoo. So we do need to figure out more ways of getting funding for the Christmas market should the 2025 Christmas market offer the same vendors as it did in 2024 with regards to the wagon rides and so forth. We heard nothing but praise from people attending with regards to everything that was there, and the vendors themselves as well as the participants thought that it was a lovely day in Winchester. So some of our struggles is we do struggle with volunteers for the committee itself. So we were six volunteers last year. We are down to 4. And we have found two additional members going into 2025. So we hope to get a few more with regards to the needs of the market in itself. And yeah, I just want to thank, let me go back. Public speaking is not my favorite thing. So our goal for 2025 is to increase vendor fees to help cover costs. We've also requested grant money from the township itself, similar to what Dairy Fest and Art on the Water front received. And we have applied for the SD&G Tourism Grant. So we're hoping to hear back from them soon. And then again, as well, we will continue to approach local businesses with regards to sponsorship. And then in closing, yeah, we just thank the township and the staff for helping us to organize the event on our monthly basis. And we look forward to we're going to do the 2 markets this year, just with regards to the number of people that we have and the time that our vendors have to work with. And then hopefully in 2026, we can come back stronger and go back to our regular market season. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Wendell, for the presentation, and good job. Don't worry about the delivery. It was fantastic. Questions, comments? Councillor Lennox.
Going to echo the mayor here. Excellent delivery. I believe if anyone enjoys public speaking, they're a narcissist. I hate it. But anyways, 3,000 people draw to a single event, 3,000 people coming through Winchester or routing through other villages on their way to Winchester is potential 3,000 people spending money at our local businesses. I like that. I can support that fully. Going through all your stats, awesome. Well done to you and your committee. Times are challenging, and finding a way to evolve like the library has been, it's going to be a challenge. I think you're a good person to lead it and make that market more successful year over year. I do see a footnote here about the church having to require $5 million in insurances just to advertise a lunch participation at the Christmas market. I can't suggest anything during delegations, but this is something I will talk to staff about. Insurance is a hot topic, and I know Mr. Mayor is very curious on exploring options on a whole, on a much larger, bigger picture. So those thoughts are shared up here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Further comments, questions? So I was one of the 3,000. My wife and I and daughter and grandchild were in attendance at the Christmas market, and the weather was fantastic. The event was fantastic. It had to be at least 3,000 people. It was a excellent event. So thank you to that. Now the date of the Mother's Day. Is there a firm date? May 10th. May 10th. So mark that in your calendars, please. I need to mark that.
10 a.m. till
I need to know
2
when
p.m.
Mother's Day is.
100 Club Park.
May 10th at the 100 Club Park. Okay, good. And you mentioned the grant money used for the cornhole set. That cornhole set came from Chesterville.
The person that created it and made it for us, yes. I apologize on the name at the moment. It has escaped me. I'm pretty sure he's part of the cornhole group in Chesterville. We did do a Facebook post on it, and we were hoping to, at some point in time, reach out to the township to get a proper photograph and a thank you and so forth. It just,
His business
We've
cards,
been delayed,
I know where it's laying at home, and it escapes me too. Want to say Warren, but I'd be wrong.
I believe you're right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that cornhole set, anyone that had seen that cornhole set, and as Ms. Windle talks, it was, manufactured in Chesterville. It is quite a business, and he's looking to expand that. And I know Stephen Mann has been, I don't see him in the room, but Stephen Mann's been in contact with that fellow, and they're looking to they're looking at opportunities to grow the business. I just want to touch base on the 100 Club Park. I know there was some negotiation going back and forth and discussion to get it to the 100 Club Park, and I agree with you. That was a fantastic venue. It's unfortunate that whatever challenges were causing the markets not to be attended as well as we had all wished. It's unfortunate because you couldn't ask for a better venue than the 100 Club Park. The grass space, the walking paths, the parking, the facilities, the pool, the pavilion. What more could you ask for? The vendors were all had great wares to offer. It's maybe it was a sign of the times. I don't know, but I know there was lots of effort. I try to sit in on the committee meetings, so I know the effort was there to encourage people to attend, and I appreciate the vendors for their commitment to providing that opportunity to all of us. I'm looking forward to May 10th. The Mother's Day, and thank you for the presentation. I'm looking around for art in the waterfront. Carrie Keller's not here. No one's in attendance from art in the waterfront. No one's subbing in. I look to Councillor Annable. Any comment about art in the waterfront?
Other than they're still organizing, looking for sponsors, there's a couple that were on the board that had a car accident, so some of their work has had to be distributed to other people in the board. But they're a well-organized group, and they're moving along.
Thank you. The Morwood Recreation Association, we have with us the president, Brent Richard, but Brent's not coming forward. We have Stephanie McClellan and Stephanie Scott coming forward to speak about an upcoming event. So thank you, ladies.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors and staff here. So we are here to present for an event for National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. It is presented by the Morwood Recreation Association. The date will be September 27th, 2025 at the Morwood Community Center. So who we are. Morwood Recreation Association was founded in 1965. Currently, we are a group of 20 members, about that, with a passion for creating memorable events for residents of Morwood and surrounding communities. Some of our annual events include a pumpkin carving contest, a tree lighting ceremony and horse and wagon ride, Christmas tractor parade, the winter carnival. We hosted an Easter event and a Remembrance Day ceremony and poppy display in Veterans View Park, and a car show and vendor sale. So on the top, we have an image of our pumpkin carving contest. This is hosted in Veterans View Park. We had over 50 entries, I guess, of pumpkin carvings this year, and we host 3 prizes for the best done. The lion in the middle was the winner for one of them this year. The car show is the next picture. That is hosted right at the community center. Tons of cars there, brought in a lot of community members. The Morwood RA opened up the canteen and served up some food, and there was also a vendor sale going on. The next image is Veterans View Park, decorated with the poppy display for Remembrance Day this year. Bottom right is from our Winter Carnival this year, where we were doing a tug-of-war contest with the Marionville Community Center. They beat us, but that's besides the point. It was a great event. And it was very cold this year, so we didn't get to do many of the outdoor events, but inside, if we just look to the left picture, you'll see Steph and I and some of the other Morwood RA members at the craft table, where we had tons of kids come through and adults make crafts and participate in the indoor activities, which also included a petting zoo, a magician, we had a euchre tournament, the canteen was open, there was a pulled pork dinner. It was just a great event. The small picture is the Earth Day initiative that we do in Morwood, where we walk around and pick up the trash from winter that's accumulated, just make sure Morwood's beautiful for spring and summer. And lastly in the middle is our picture of the tractor parade that we hosted this year. It was so fun. It was our first event doing this, and it will definitely be a repeat. We walked around and drove our tractors around Morwood and collected donations for Naomi's House. We had over $500 donation for Naomi's House, and then also different sorts of donations, clothing and sanitary products and things like that. So it brings us to today. The purpose of our event for Truth and Reconciliation is a meaningful gathering that will recognize the importance of truth and reconciliation, a process of acknowledging the historical and ongoing injustices faced by Indigenous people. We are advancing reconciliation and honoring calls to action item 80, which reads, we call upon the federal government in collaboration with Aboriginal peoples to establish as a statutory holiday a national day for truth and reconciliation to honor survivors, their families, and communities, and ensure that public commemoration of the history and legacy of residential schools remains a vital component of the reconciliation process. So we want to make sure that as our community, we can honor the survivors, their families, and the community by doing a community event. So we want to come together to respect this important day, recognizing the past and committing to a future rooted in respect and understanding.
So this will be our agenda for the day. We have secured the performers from Matahoki Farms, which is in Ottawa. The Grand Chief will be coming from Akwesasne. We have secured him as well. It starts at 8 a.m. and it will run until about 5 p.m. Sorry. It starts at 8 a.m. and it will run till about 5 p.m. on Saturday, September 27th. We will be having an Indigenous lunch, which will be smoked pulled bison and Indian tacos, which is served as well by Matahoki Farms. So we'll have the smudging and an opening ceremony by an elder. Then there will be a talking circle just for people to learn about the history, learn about the residential schools. Outside, we will have events. There'll be maple harvest. They will have their spirit horses. Then we break for lunch. After lunch, we will have more of a performers. We'll have a drumming circle. There will be a hoop dancer, 2 traditional dancers. There'll be workshops where people can create dream catchers. Then we'll have David Whitedeer perform. He is a singer as well as a drummer. He is also going to be one of the vendors. He does excellent beadwork. We will have some vendors that we're still working on with Matahokie Farms to come out as well. We have reached out to SDG Library. They will have a table at the event, just in case anybody wants to check out any of their resources and whatnot. We'll also have crafts for the children to do. Then we're also going to have a table displayed for the calls of action books so that people who are interested can grab a book. We're also going to have a display on the wall of red dresses to commemorate the MMIW, which is the Missing Murder Indigenous Women. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Yeah, and that'll be our day. What do I do here? No, sorry. And then this slide is to do with our budget. We have actually applied for 3 grants as of right now to cover. Oh no, back. To cover the budget. So we have applied for the Wenjack and Gord Downey grant of $15,000. We applied for the SDG Tourism grant for $5,000. We've applied for the 100 Woman grant for $10,000. We are applying for the Heritage grant for $30,000, which opens in August. We're trying to make sure that none of this comes from the taxpayers. It's all going to either be through grant funding or corporate sponsorships and small business sponsorships. This is just an example of our sponsors that we have for Morewood. For the Winter Carnival alone, our sponsors in Morewood raised $6,000. So we didn't need to call upon the council or the taxpayers for any of that. We're just trying to make sure we keep as, the financial responsibility for Morewood with our grants and sponsors. And then this is a list of all the grants and the charity that we have contacted, which I've already touched on. And closer to the date too, we're going to be advertising door-to-door, fundraising door-to-door as well, with the local businesses and the local residents. We've reached out to St. Thomas Aquinas. One of the teachers there runs the Indigenous Peoples in a Global Contacts program, and he is very interested in integrating our event into his curriculum in 2025. He also is, I don't know if it's the entire class or just a few kids out of the class, but they're going to be volunteering at the event and then also be participating in the event as well. We're trying to get North Dundas High School as well. We're just in the talks with them right now.
All right, and then for the promotion of the event, it'll be, the regular social media stuff, making sure that we have permission from the performers, of course, using our own Facebook page, North Dundas, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. The email campaigns through North Dundas Township. We have many connections to radio stations, so we'll be using them for audio promotion. We will go with outdoor signage. We've already, we're getting a sign created by Shane Signs that we will use. We're going to be at the expo in April, where we'll have that. We're going to also advertise through libraries with flyers and things like that. And yeah, that's pretty much the goal with the promotion. And thank you very much. Any questions?
Well, thank you, ladies, for that presentation, and I will lean over and look at Councillor Lennox, who's a member of the Committee of Council for the Morewood RA. He's our representative to your committee, and I'll let him speak to the event.
Yeah, so when Stephanie approached the Morewood RA with this idea, I thought it was a huge undertaking, such a significant undertaking for the first in North Dundas and probably the first in SDNG that I'm aware of. And I was supportive, but I did challenge them with, you know, this is huge. If we're going to do it, you have to do it right. And watching it go from just an idea in December to well-organized, budgeted, and for the Morwood RA to acknowledge that they don't want this to be a burden on the taxpayer is significant to me. It tells me they're organized, they're committed, and they're going to see this through. They did do a light presentation to the CAO, myself, the clerk, and Mr. Mayor. I think that was all in the room. And we liked that overview presentation. It went a little long, but, you know, they're invested. So you went over your plan B. If fundraising falls short, you're going to go after corporate sponsors. And I know both of you and all of Morwood RA has massive connections in that realm. But why North Dundas? Why is this significant to North Dundas is something which I think you should answer. And secondly, for just pure ignorance, what is reconciliation?
Okay, it's significant for North Dundas, mainly because there's nothing like it in the area here. If anyone from our area wanted to attend a Truth and Reconciliation event, they would have to travel to the cities, either Cornwall or Ottawa. Sometimes that's not a possibility. There are transportation issues. Some people aren't comfortable even driving to the city. We also did some research and found that we have about 3,000 to 4,000 people in our area, according to the census in 2021, who are Indigenous. And this is a cultural event for them, and we want to be able to show that. I think it is also important to note that we would also be taking part in the calls to action, which is a significant purpose. And I think that's why it's significant. Do you want to add anything? No. Okay. That's perfect. Okay. That's perfect.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. And so reconciliation is learning, educating, and doing better. So our Indigenous people from Canada have been through a lot, you know, to say the least. And reconciliation is the act of learning, educating ourselves and others, speaking up, and making sure that injustices are, I don't know the right word, but reconciled, and working toward a future of mutual respect, and listening, learning, and making amends.
Good answers, thank you. Yeah, looking at the agenda and everything else, today is kind of my first time seeing the agenda laid out like this, and it looks quite inclusive. It's nailing on the reconciliation bid of here's the ceremony, these are the injustices, with some learning, with some interaction. Then it moves into more of a laid-back cultural experience that's quite inclusive. So it tells me you're well prepared. I'm confident Morwood RA will deliver this with excellence to residents of North Dundas and beyond.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions, comments? I do want to just thank you for your presentation. Excellent. And as Councillor Lennox mentioned, we did have the opportunity to have the overview 3 months ago. And the challenges that were, not challenges, but the requests made, I guess challenges, that, you come to be a delegation, you present this, and to Councillor Lennox's comments, thank you very much for what you've prepared and presented. But I think whenever first time it was brought to my attention by Councillor Lennox that we needed to have this meeting a few months ago, my comment to Councillor was, yeah, this is something that's needed. I believe it was the last council recognized Truth and Reconciliation Day as being important, and my comment to staff at the time is we need to have something more than just words. We need to have an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to understand, an opportunity to communicate about the day, the truth and reconciliation, the need to recognize what had gone on in the past and have a better awareness and understanding. So this answers that. It closes the loop for me as whenever we made the commitment to step up and recognize it as a day that needs to be acknowledged, and it needed to be more than just a day off. It needed to have something to it. So I appreciate your efforts. You had more than read my mind whenever we went down this path a few years ago, and I look forward to that. And I before I stop rambling on, I just wanted to thank the leadership at the from Brent to make sure everything comes together. The Morwood RA does fantastic work, and he even got the picture of my car, and I appreciate that. It's the right color. And I appreciate that. But Councillor Lennox and I had a chance to participate in the lawn tractor or the tractor parade. It was an amazing event, well organized, and I look forward to some warm food next year at the culmination of the event. And I hope that it encourages other people to participate in that, because it was a unique event in the community of Morwood. So I thank the RA for that, and I especially look forward to September 27th and the event in Morwood. Anything else, members? Okay, thank you, ladies. Thank you for that presentation. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. So we'll move into staff reports. Staff reports in Mr. CAO, the amendment of fees in bylaw number 2021-45, moved by Councillor Annable, seconded by Councillor Uhrig, that bylaw number 2021-45 being a bylaw to establish fees for certain licenses, permits, certificates, and for various services be approved as amended this 12th day of March 2025. Mr. Pohl.
Thank you, Mayor Fraser and members of council. So we have a proposal this evening to amend our current fees bylaw. We do it sometimes 3 times a year. This one is our first one this year. It's been brought to our attention by several of the departments that some adjustments are required. Under the transportation services, an admin fee is being proposed of $5 with regard to the drainage billing, and that's to help cover off our mailing costs. It's not a significant amount, but it'll offset some of those costs related to that. So that's a new one being proposed. Financial services, we're looking at an increase of your tax certificate from $50 to $60. That fee has not changed in 20 years. It's time that it be adjusted also for inflation. The next ones are with regard to insufficient checks that do come in from time to time. The cost that we bear from our bank, to increase that from 25 to 40, that's what we're being charged. So we're trying to recover our costs. There's some new fees under tax sales that we don't collect from, that we incur. We'd like to pass on to those that we have to collect taxes from. Those fees are outlined in the page 2. There's various fees there, and there's some actual costs, legal costs, that would be put onto the tax bill with regard to tax sales and things like that. The last one is the burn bylaw, which is a follow-up on our last council meeting, where we're looking to increase the burn permit fees from $15 to $25, with a $10 increase being set aside in a separate account for tree planting in North Dundas. So $10 of the increase will go directly for tree planting and help create a green North Dundas through the bylaw.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Councillor Lennox.
Just a quick question, Mr. CAO. With tree planting, is the planting going to be targeted, such as sided roadways, to decrease snow drifts or in the parks?
Yeah, that's been a big issue this past winter, as many of you know. The drifting across the roads has been a serious problem. It is something we talked about at the transportation department, that is one of the issues, as well as some of our parks, getting some trees in the parks and donated land that we get from time to time. There's some of that opportunities to plant there also.
Anything further from Mr. Pohl? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Thank you, Mr. Pohl. Corporate Services Clerk, bylaw number 2025, the procedure bylaw is revised, moved by Councillor Lennox, second by Councillor Urick, that bylaw number 2025-06, being a bylaw to govern the proceedings of council and its committees, be passed and enacted this 12th day of March 2025. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. This procedure bylaw was brought to the meeting the last meeting we had, and it was deferred because there was a couple of changes that were requested by Councillor Lennox. They've both been addressed. The first one was 8.1A, where a definition for business and casual attire has been added. The second was 14D about delegations, where another paragraph has been added such that if a delegation is refused, all of council will be notified, with the option to then have it put on the agenda for discussion or sent to a committee of council for review if so desired.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Then we'll move on to bylaw number 2025-01, officers and committees, updated March 2025, moved by Councillor Urick. Councillor Urick submitted, jeepers. I'm suffering. Moved by Councillor Urick, seconded by Councillor Lennox, that bylaw number 2025-01, being a bylaw for the appointment of officers, committees, agents, staff, volunteers, and other associations, be approved as amended this 12th day of March 2025. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only change to this bylaw at this point is to add our new CAO, who will be starting on March the 7th.
Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. And thank you. And now we'll move into Fire. Chief Raystrick, the automatic aid agreement. Moved by Councillor Lennox, second by Councillor Urick, that bylaw number 2025-24, being a bylaw to enter into an automatic aid agreement with the municipality of South Dundas, be passed and enacted this 12th day of March 2025. Chief.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Yes, this agreement in principle has been in place since pre-amalgamation. The only real difference that you're going to see in the new agreement is in line with what most municipalities are doing, and it's elimination of a standby fee and increasing the vehicle response rate to the MTO rate. This is really quite standard practice now across the province. So,
Thank you. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Move to Transportation, Director Cheney. The 2025 North Dundas Roads Needs Study, moved by Councillor Annable, seconded by Councillor Urick, that council adopt the Township of North Dundas Road Needs Study prepared by the Transportation Services Department of United Counties of Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry, dated February 27, 2025. Director Cheney.
Thank you, Mayor Fraser, members of council. During the regular meeting of council on December 5th of 2024, county staff presented a key information report outlining the details of the draft 2025 Roads Needs Study, but informed council that the report was not yet completed. A delegation by Mr. DeHaan and Mr. Dana Grant, both of the counties, followed at the February 12th, 2025 regular council meeting with an explanation of their findings. The 2025 North Dundas Roads Needs Study is now completed and is attached.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Director Cheney, surplus 1996 Champion Grader, unit number 3224, moved by Councillor Annable, seconded by Councillor Lennox. The council declares unit number 3224 a 1996 Champion Grader, serial number 26119, to be surplus to the needs of the township, and that council authorize it to be advertised on the Brian's Auction Services website via sealed bids with a minimum bid of $20,000. Director Cheney.
Thanks again, Mayor Fraser. Staff has determined that Unit 3224, which is the 1996 Champion Grader, has over 17,000 hours and is no longer needed to be kept in service due to its age, poor condition, and unavailability of parts. And it is recommended that it be deemed surplus. A lease grader for the 2 to 3 months every spring will suffice for the shortfall.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. We move to Recreation and Culture, Ms. Meerberg. The disposition of 10519 Kerrs Ridge Road, Hallville, moved by Councillor Lennox, seconded by Councillor Annable, that the Council of the Township of North Dundas declare the municipally owned property PIN number 661000170, located at 10519 Kerrs Ridge Road in Hallville, surplus to the needs of the municipality, and authorize the Director of Recreation and Culture to advertise the property for public sale. Ms. Meerberg.
Good evening, Council. You have my report in front of you with plans for the Brian Telford Community Park construction to take place this year. The current outdoor rink property at Kerrs Ridge Road is no longer needed. The intention is that the monies from the sale will help to offset the municipality's financial contribution to the new park development. The rink property is currently zoned as open space. The recommendation from our realtor was to list the property for sale with the current zoning designation. However, if council would like to rezone the subject lands to residential first density, a public meeting could be advertised for April 9th.
Thank you. Questions, comments? I do have, I'm sorry, was there a hand?
Yeah, sorry.
Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, just a comment for council. I think rezoning would probably facilitate the sale a lot easier. Again, it's up to the will of council.
Thank you for your comment. I agree that I think we need to do this. And we can, yeah, we'll speak to the public meeting. I agree that we need to rezone this and public meeting to look at the options, but I too adhere to the idea of a residential one, I think it would be. So let's just get through this action request, and then we have one ready to go. If there's no further questions about the action request, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. And so we have a new motion that that a public meeting be held on April 9, 2025 to consider rezoning the property located at 10519 Kerrs Ridge Road in Hallville, PIN number 661000170, to residential first density R1. Do I have a mover? Do I have a seconder? So moved by Councillor Lennox, seconded by Councillor Uhrig. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. The next item is the update to ICE allocation policy number 63-2016, moved by Councillor Annable, seconded by Councillor Lennox, that council approve ICE allocation policy number 63-2016 as amended this 12th day of March 2025. Ms. Meerberg.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm requesting that council authorize two updates to the ICE allocation policy. The first is an adjustment to the start time of weekday primetime ICE. It currently begins at 6 p.m., but it is recommended to move up to a start time of 5 p.m. for the 2025-2026 ICE season, so next season, and then be bumped again for the 2026-2027 season to commence at 4 p.m. Our neighboring municipalities all begin their weekday primetime ICE at 4 or 4:30 p.m., so this would put us in line. But again, it's a phased-in approach as our major ICE user groups have requested. The second change is to update the verbiage for NSF checks. So instead of stating that the current, instead of stating what the current administrative fee amount is, the policy is recommended to refer to the fees listed in the fees and charges bylaw, so it always stays current. My report also identifies that should the township declare a significant weather event or recommend essential travel only, the arenas will close to the public and ICE rentals will be canceled and refunded.
Thank you. Questions, comments? I have a few thoughts on, and they're nothing major. It's just the end of day for township staff, rec staff. If the ICE is prime time till or open until midnight, do we run into an overtime issue? If 4 p.m. to midnight, then I'm just guessing as a former user, if I get off the ice at 11:50, the ice needs to be cleaned and the dress rooms need to be vacated and the dress rooms cleaned up and the building shut down. Do we run into overtime by having the ice available for use until 11:50 p.m.?
So, Mr. Mayor, sorry, are you referring to the idea of just changing the start of prime time ice? Or
No.
you're just
No,
something
I
completely
just look at,
separate?
I see
Sorry.
4 p.m. or 5 p.m. to midnight in 2026, 4 p.m. till midnight. I think I'm reading that correctly. So that, to me, that means I'm on the ice till 11:50 p.m. So I'm not out of the dressing room till 12:30, and then staff need to clean the dressing room up, which would run into 1 p.m. I'm just wondering are we staying open too late, or are we staying open late and incurring overtime?
So there would be no change to our operating hours, or no change from our contracted ice for this year anticipated to affect next year. It's more that if we change what time our prime time ice starts, it's simply a rate change is
Oh,
all.
I understand that completely.
I'm
just
sorry.
talking about ice. I think back to my days playing for the Chesterfield Old Timers,
Yes.
how we needed to be out by midnight so that no overtime was incurred.
Okay. Oh, okay. Just simply the time. So the staff are scheduled accordingly in order to not incur overtime.
Thank you. Okay, that's good. I'm comfortable with that idea. Okay, so that and the other thing when I was going through this the other day, it was whenever there's a cancellation because of weather or whatever the circumstance. I'm just like, I guess there's no other easy way to do it but to contact the person that reserved the ice time, and they have to disseminate all that, send all that information out. I'm probably overthinking that. It's just that I think sometimes of the challenges of reaching all of the people involved in minor hockey and the referees and all of that. I do understand that we do have challenges whenever the ice needs to be, the arenas need to be shut down. So please ignore me. I'm just overthinking this. If there's nothing else, I'm sure I have nothing else. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. And now we're going to move into the key information report, Ms. Meerberg.
So my report contemplates the increase of ice rental rates for the 2025 to 2026 ice season. Attached to my report for council review is a rate comparison chart which includes all of the municipalities within SDNG as well as Russell and Kentville. During a meeting with our ice user groups, our major ice user groups last May, the groups expressed an understanding for the township's need to increase our ice rental rates, but they asked that we take a phased-in approach. And that any changes to the ice rental rates be implemented before their annual general meetings, which take place in April because registration fees are set during the AGMs. In respect of these requests, rate increase options are provided, as well as detailed breakdowns of how the options would affect our local minor sports groups. For council information, most of the increase options provided still keep us below the SDNG average prices in each category. My team and I, in tandem with the finance department, are working on a comprehensive financial review of the municipal facilities that are under the auspices of the Recreation and Culture Department, including the arenas, of course. As a result, I expect that recommendations for future rate increases will be brought forward before the 2026-2027 ice season. Rate increases help the Recreation and Culture Department to offset rising operating costs, including utilities. They also help to offset capital costs. So in 2024, you may recall that we replaced one of the cooling towers and repaired the roof, both for Winchester to the tune of $165,000. This year, we plan to do the same in Chesterville. So it was a needs assessment. We had some leaking happening in Winchester, and the cooling tower could have potentially failed during the ice season, meaning we would lose the ice. This year, our regular maintenance contractor for our refrigeration system has identified that it's strongly recommended that we replace the cooling tower for Chesterville. So it wasn't a concern last year. Winchester was. Now they've identified Chesterville, just to be clear on that. Last year also brought up the need to rent commercial dehumidifiers for both arenas in order to be able to put the ice in and maintain it for the first couple of months in Winchester and for the first month in Chesterville, due to various factors, the facility, the outside climate, different factors. As our cost to provide the two arenas to our residents increases, we are looking for ways to reasonably increase facility rental rates so that the end user groups are absorbing more of the increase instead of a larger impact to our general tax base. So my report provides a lot of options for council consideration, and I am looking for direction from council during this meeting, if possible, so that we can set the rate increases and so that our major ICE user groups know what to expect and what information to take to their AGMs.
So, thank you for that, and I'll open up the questions, comments, but I just, when is the meeting with the user groups in April?
Mr. Mayor, it is April 8th.
April 8th, and our next council meeting is?
The 9th.
The 9th. It's too bad that their meeting couldn't be held in the evening of the 9th, after our next meeting, so we could consider all this and actually, there's two parts to that. If their AGM was, or your meeting with the user groups was held in a fashion where they could contribute to the thoughts and have a better understanding of the challenges, and then that brought forward to us to help support our decisions as council members, and then make a decision, and then they could pass that along at their AGM. So I'm just wondering if there could be some juggling of meetings. I think I'm making some sense.
It would be a good idea.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So we had consulted. We first contacted Minor Hockey and Winchester Skating Club just to see what their availability was for the meetings, and then contacted the Rockets, the Hawks, just to kind of see if minor sports dates fell in line with theirs. So it was based on that, unfortunately. However, I can still communicate information that happens at the council meeting, like afterwards, if that helps.
Are you referring to the council meeting today or the council meeting April 9th?
April 9th. So the April 8th meeting was scheduled based on their availability. But the AGM, my understanding is that the AGM happens after our April 9th council meeting.
Okay, thank you. I feel a bit better with that idea. Yeah, no, there's a lot to consider, and I do appreciate we have some minor hockey people here tonight, and I do want, we do recognize, and some of the communication I received and some of the communication you received, communication we've all received, is the challenges at our arenas, and we've all experienced the upset. Me being one of the people upset whenever things don't go as we anticipate, as we desire, whenever things break down and repairs are needed, and the leaking roof in Chesterville, holding up the ice and taking out the ice in Winchester last year, and all of these challenges, it's recognized, and as I had a chance to speak to some of the people tonight, the challenges we face with the aging infrastructure that we have. Fees need to go up. I'm pretty sure everyone understands that challenge, because it'd be a terrible thing to organize a hockey season or a figure skating event and then to have something fail, and to think that, well, we save money by not increasing fees, but now we're shutting down the arenas, and at times when people would do not want them shut down. They need to operate. The arenas in North Dundas are vital to our community, and I'm quite good with the differences in the rates, but I do know we need to have a rate increase, and I do accept the rate increase as proposed. I see what you've done there, but I look at Councillor Uhrig.
Yeah, I did. Just to the mayor's point, we've all heard, from various user groups leading up to the meeting today. And I mean, now, kind of having, publicly, everybody's seeing these numbers now. They don't seem too out of hand, but then I can also, I say it one way, that way, but then I can also understand that, if you've got 3 or 4 kids in minor hockey, that's quite a jump next hockey season, right? So I do wonder if there is an opportunity for a more gradual increase to this. I understand, the situation. I'm abundantly clear with the situation we find ourselves in when it comes to our recreation facilities. But I do think, there is the ongoing belief, mistrust, whatever, from various user groups, despite, we have meetings and stuff like that, and that's great that we have all this communication, but it does feel at times that, we're trying to dig ourselves out of infrastructure issues on the backs of our users versus, the general tax base. And I understand that is kind of the impression that may be out there, so I do wonder if there's a more opportunity for a more gradual increase in these rates versus such a heavy-handed, it seems at times, increase to these rates. But again, not having that kind of magical fix for the issues with which we face, right? So I think my desire maybe would be to kind of pull these back a little bit if we can versus running through with them and then, the 8th of April sitting down and saying, well, these are what they are, go figure it out, right? And then us finding out whatever the blowback, feedback may have been after the fact versus, knowing what it could be before we set rates for the next ice season.
Right, okay, thank you. Councillor Hannibal.
I think it would be a good idea if we had a little, maybe negotiating is not the right word, but between both parties. There are things happening at the arena in this decade that didn't happen last decade, and the decade after this, they're going to get worse. So where do we draw the line? Where do the money come to fix all of this? But I think a little negotiation between both sides would be a good idea.
Thank you for your thoughts. I know when we first talked about this and I saw the increase in rates, I thought of maybe the rate increase over 2 years. It's something along that line, then we can move forward if we do it over 2 years and say this is what it is, we need this year, and then have Ms. Meerberg present that idea at the April 9th meeting that we achieve what we need to achieve to keep the arenas open. Because this is what this is about, is keeping the arenas open. We shut arenas down last year. We had issues at the start of this season. So we know that it's not going to heal by itself. So we need to react. I know it's a big jump. I know it's not nearly as much as going to a tournament or buying a hockey stick, but it's a big jump for users and families. But it'd be even more devastating to North Dundas in the winter months if we had to shut down one of the 2 arenas and kids didn't have an opportunity to play hockey or spectators didn't have an opportunity to cheer on their favorite local team. This is the 3 of us here I'm looking at, and it's unfortunate this is 3 of us here, but I'm looking at the 3 of us here, and are we open to the idea of doing it over 2 years? And I look at Ms. Meerberg, and do you see any challenges with that at this point if we decide to recommend or desire to go down that path to achieve the numbers, not this ice season, but in the 2026 ice season, 2026-27 night. 2026-2027, achieve the ultimate number?
So that's a great question. That's kind of where we're headed with these numbers, is a phased-in approach. So increases of $20 to $40 this ice season, and then an additional bump next year after we do the comprehensive financial review. That's in my report, that further increases. With plans for the introduction for further increases for the 26-27 season to kind of get us where we think we need to be. But if council would like to entertain a lower increase this year and do it over 3 or
What-
4 years.
And what is the anticipated, this, if I look at the page with the per hour and the local minor sports, and the 2025, 2026 recommended rate is 140, an increase of $21.
Yes.
What do you anticipate the rate increase would be for the 2026, 2027?
We don't have the numbers yet. That would be based on the financial review that we're going to be doing on the facilities. So all that we're going based off of is that even with the recommended rate increases on that schedule, we're still far below our neighboring municipalities in most of the categories. So we're suggesting a phased-in approach, implement an increase, like a block increase this for, it would be next ice season. So we're currently in the 24-25. This would be for the 25-26.
Right.
And then with the likelihood of further increases for the 26-27, but not knowing what those increases right now would look like.
It'd be nice to know what those anticipated increases would be for the 26, 27 season. 26, 27, yeah. Yeah. Because there's ways to, there's thoughts about how you can split, not have such the impact once, but to split the impact so people there suffer it 1 year and they, it's death by 1,000 cuts as opposed to one, I guess, but just to recognize the challenges that everyone faces, and if we could do it in steps, but without knowing what the 26, 27 step may be. Do we do 75% and then the balance is attached to the 26, 27? But anyway, these are the numbers we have to see. I think we need to have more information, and hopefully by the April 9th meeting, we could have more discussion individually with you and the challenges that we face, and an understanding from the April 8th
Yes.
meeting and how that's received. But I do want to say to those that are here and those that are paying attention, this goes to maintaining the facilities we have. This is what it's all about. We need to maintain those two facilities. We need to make sure that the roofs don't drip, the stalactites, or is it stalagmites?
Stalagmites.
The stalagmites that were appearing on the ice at the start of the season this year in Chesterville. And we don't suffer what we suffered 2 years ago with the start of the season in Winchester. So we know, and everyone does know, that we need to spend money on it. And with the increased cost of everything, we need to have more money for the ice rental. But to all of that, and I just keep on discussing this, and I think about it more and more, maybe the non-residential, we just go right to those rates right now, the non-residential, and we are going to be considering what we can do, how we're going to implement the residential rates. Because we're talking about taxpayers, and taxpayers are offsetting that, and but I do recognize that the non-residential rates, I'm not sure if I look at that. I look at my fellow councilors, we just move ahead with the non-residential. Councilor Urick?
Yeah, I'd be satisfied. There's a compromise there. I think if we move forward with what's been proposed for non-residential, but we hold off so far for residential or local minor sports and stuff like that, then I think that's a good start. And then we can, get that feedback next month and see where we go from there.
Thank you.
I think it would make a better taste in everybody's mouth if we did it gradually over the 2 years.
Okay, thank you. And I'm looking at our CAO. You look like a face of concern. Okay. Okay, that's the first step. Let's recognize that the non-residential rates will go up, and then we have further information coming back, feedback coming back from the April 8th, and time for us that are sitting here to better understand and be more aware of the challenges and trying to figure out a way to deal with the residential rates. Welcome back. Councillor Lennox. Bear with me, folks. The consent agenda, moved by Councillor Annable, second by Councillor Urick, that all items listed under the consent agenda be approved / filed as recommended. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. No items for consideration, notices, motions, none, boards and committees. I really have nothing to offer from County Council. The Parade of Lights, I have nothing to offer. The Garden Party Market. The next meeting is at Iron Forge, March 19th at 6 p.m., and we had the delegation from Iron Forge, from Ms. Windle. Art in the Waterfront, Councillor Annabelle has brought us up to speed. The Chesterfield District Historical Society, Councillor Annabelle. Anything to update? Nothing. The Green Action Gang, Councillor Lennox.
With spring around the corner, there's definitely opportunities to bloom into a volunteer role with the Green Action Gang in Chesterville. It's one of the best gangs out there, and you won't end up in prison.
The Downtown Winchester, either Councillor Annabelle or Councillor Urick. Nothing. The Morwood Rec Association, Councillor Lennox. Next meeting is the Morwood Community Center, March 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Councillor Lennox, any updates?
Yes, they're going to be doing a Easter egg hunt during Easter. You heard about September 27th. Again, another great community organization to join.
Thank you for that. Council comments? Seeing none. The ratification bylaw number 2025-23, moved by Councillor Annabelle, second by Councillor Lennox. That bylaw 2025-23. Madam Clerk, am I getting too far ahead? Okay. That bylaw 2025-23 to confirm the proceedings of council at its regular meeting held on March 12, 2025 be passed and enacted. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. And the adjournment. Moved by Councillor Urick, second by Councillor Lennox, that council adjourn at 6:01 p.m. to the call of the chair. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none. Thank you very much. That's carried. Thank you to everyone that came into attendance, that came to attend. Thanks to all those that paid attention online. And until next time, April 8th, take care. April 9th.